Hi everyone, welcome to the monthly intuitive reading for the collective consciousness, and this is for May. Can you believe we're already in May? This is so crazy. This is May 2023. Before I jump into it, you guys know what I'm going to say. Please like this video if it resonates with you. And also subscribe to this channel if you want to see more readings. I do a ton of daily readings for YouTube Shorts. So you're definitely going to want to subscribe so you can get notified for more content like this. And then if it does resonate with you, please, again, like the video. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm in general. And then you can put it down below. I love reading the comments, guys. I will respond back. So if it resonates with you, if it doesn't, any other comments, questions, concerns, whatever you want to put down below, totally open. Just be kind. Hopefully you guys engage. So let's jump right into it, guys. Let's see what the month has in store. I'm super curious myself. So I already have the cards pre-shuffled here. I'm actually using 3 decks instead of 4, trying that out this week, but actually the same type of spread that I've been using for the weekly, I'm going to use for the monthly. So let's jump right into it, guys. What does May have in store? What kind of action do we need to take for May? So we have clean it up. Okay, so yes, this is actually about tying up loose ends and making sure, and I think actually we had this for the weekly last week, or at least I think it was somewhere in the first row if I'm not mistaken. But basically it's about tying up loose ends and making sure that we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, that kind of thing. So that I would say is definitely a priority for us for May. So just make sure that we're closing things up. That ending type energy is kind of coming through, right? And I think I've said this before, is like, we've been in this limbo. Well, I know I've said this before because we're in this transition of this limbo, of this change from going from, our old life to our new life. And it's not quite there yet, but this is really talking to us about, tying up loose ends and making sure that everything is tidy and good to go. And so you're allowing, basically you're telling the universe that you're, okay, I've tied this up, I've ended this, I'm finished with this. Now I'm ready for the new. So that's what that's really about. So let's see what do we need besides cleaning things up here. We have Be the Light. Okay, so this month is definitely about White Witch is always Be the Light is about seeing things in a lighter way, in a more positive way. Again, this isn't about toxic positivity and spiritual bypassing. So definitely feel what you guys need to feel, but I definitely do feel like this month is going to call for us to see things a little bit more lighthearted. And so sometimes you guys have heard me explain that sometimes I get energy in the way of like, oh, does it feel heavy? Does it feel dense? Or does it feel a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more fun? So definitely getting that. So meaning that it is turning more to a more positive light. Even though it hasn't been super heavy, but we did have that 1 week in April that was a little bit heavy. It was the week before the holiday actually, but I definitely do feel like things are lightening up, and I definitely do feel like we're going to be able to naturally see. This is what I mean, is that we're tapping into the energies of what we can work with here, and I definitely feel like naturally we're going to start seeing things a little bit more positively. Like we're going to start seeing things trickling in this month that are letting us know that everything is going to be okay. Like a little bit of, let's put it this way, it feels like we'll be seeing more evidence, right? And so we don't always need evidence, right? But we are going to be seeing the evidence this month. So I definitely do feel like that's really what we need. So look for that evidence and really take it to heart, and we'll be able to kind of see more of the positive light of things. So, okay, so what's going to be challenging for us? So like I said, that seems to be coming naturally for us. This came in upside down: acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Okay, so this is about, actually, where did we see this in the previous weeks? We've seen the angel as far as, I think we actually saw it under reflection, but we have it as a challenge here. So this is telling me that we're not necessarily moving into this. And so, guys, I call my channel Soul Work with Justine, and the reason why I'm calling it that these days is it has multiple meanings, but the soul work to me is just really working on things from a soul level, not like a mental level, not necessarily from a physical level, even though everything is connected and everything is, mind, body, soul, that kind of thing. But this is really working on things from a spiritual type level, okay? And so what that really means is, you can call it spiritual work, you can call it soul work, and you can call it shadow work, but this is really about looking at how we're not so innocent, is like the way to say it. And so this is really about looking at how, I hate the word victim. I think it gets so overused like a lot, and I think people really mess things up when they say, victim mentality and being a victim are two actual completely different things, from my perspective at least. But this is actually more talking about that victim mentality, or just in general, finding the power in a situation where you were victimized, okay? But this is really kind of looking at our part in things, our side of the street in that way. And that could be really hard about the things, especially if something happened to you where you were victimized. Like I said, there are victims, but it's really about finding that power and really owning your side of the street, is like another way to put it. And so this is about seeing like where was your part in the situation. And a good example would be excuse me, guys. Maybe somebody stole money from you or ripped you off or something like that. And the reality is that, we need to kind of look at, we gave them our bank account information, or we trusted them, like that kind of thing. And so again, this is not blaming ourselves, guys. This isn't even really accountability, but this is kind of looking at ourselves in a perspective that's very different. And this is why it's challenging, because it does require looking at all different perspectives, all different angles of what has transpired during this time, and really being able to, see our the shadow side of things in ourselves. So I hope that makes sense, but it does feel very challenging this month. This is something that calls for reflection and introspection. So it does feel like it's very challenging for us, but I feel like we'll get there. And I feel like there are some breakthroughs that are attached to this, where we do figure things out in a way that really empowers us. Because guys, shadow work, soul work, spiritual work, all of these things are, whatever you want to call it, all of these things are meant to empower us at the end of the day. That's what it's really about. That's where our empowerment comes from. So I hope that makes sense, but it definitely does feel like it's very challenging for us. Another way to kind of put this is kind of looking at our toxic traits, or what we need to work on, like that kind of thing. So there's some self-reflection there this month that, again, does feel very challenging, okay? So what surprises do we have in store for us? Okay, exchanging gifts. All right, so sorry, this slides a lot. So here's what I have coming up for this. I definitely do feel like an unexpected exchange. So I don't necessarily feel like it's like an unexpected gift kind of coming your way, like an opportunity maybe, or something, somebody gifts something to you, but it feels like a tit for tat kind of situation, but not in a negative way. It definitely does feel like, I want to say like karma, where like, because it doesn't have to be in this month. Like maybe you did something for somebody 3 months ago, and they're coming back and they're surprising you with repaying you in some way. This could be, lending somebody money, the money's coming back, so you're getting it this month. There's something here where there's an even exchange, where somebody, you either help them out and they're helping you out now, or vice versa, where you're actually able to step up because you're in a better place and doing your part. Like somebody helped you out 3 months ago, now you're helping them out. Something along those lines. Could be finances, could be a job. Any way you can help out, not even necessarily helping out, it might even just be I guess I could say help out, but obviously it could be like an object, it could be you know, an act of service of some kind or something like that. But I definitely do feel like that's evening out this month, and it's definitely going to be a surprise. I feel like it's very much, like, obviously very positive, but also to lots of gratitude that come along with this. So, and that could be accompanying like, you know, like, oh wow, people really do stick to their word, or wow, when I really need somebody, you know, they're there for me, or, you know, they really come out in a pinch. And so it's almost like, I want to say, restoring our faith in humanity in a way. I know that's actually pretty big. So, I mean, it does feel like some of us, it's going to be something pretty big. So look out for that for sure. And it's definitely coming in the way of like very surprising. Okay. So let's see what a potential issue could be. Interesting, because this is the same type of energy. So there could be an issue with that. So like I said, I definitely do feel like it's mostly positive here, but watch out for any issues that come along with that. I actually want to say it's more, how do I say this, technical issues. Like there might be something that comes along attached to whatever's kind of this exchange here, that is maybe unexpected. That's the only way I can kind of put it, is like, I don't know, you helped somebody in the past get a job, and now they're helping you get a job, but the job requires you to know this certain software program or something, and you don't know it. That would be the issue. So that's how I kind of correlate those two together. Like but it definitely does feel like a minor issue that really needs to be addressed. But I do see it again. The positivity and the gratitude from this is overpowering the issue. So I don't feel like it's going to be too much of a nuisance, is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, guys, it's raining here, and the rain is hitting my air conditioner, so I hope that is not too distracting for you guys. Okay, what do we need to focus on? We have the martyr, so learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. Perfect. Okay, so sometimes we hear the martyr, actually most times we hear the martyr in a more negative stance, you know, somebody playing the martyr, which is basically somebody doing something just for, you know, praise, or to be liked, or, you know, people pleasing is actually like a very good way to see this in the shadow, but it's not in the shadow. So basically, I definitely do feel like focusing on what you can do and be in service for others this month, and that will be really beneficial. Guys, I'm feeling like really good, even though this one is an issue attached to the exchanging gifts with the trader here, with, you know, issues with, you know, the back and forth. I do feel like in general, it's any way, shape, or form that you can actually give. So here's how I see these two connected. Sorry, I'm going all over the place, but you know, having, you know, being surprised by humanity, for example, will make you want to give more, right? So it makes sense that this is actually coming through with the martyr here. So you just knowing that, and again, it's not in the negative, it's not in the shadow. So you're giving to just give, right? You're being in service to just be in service. You don't expect anything back, but deep down inside in your heart, you know, like, humanity is mostly good, and it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you in some type of good type of karma, basically. But that's not the reason you're doing it, is basically what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, what do we need to reflect on besides this challenge here, which will be very challenging, is never-ending story. Okay, so guys, this is definitely a month of shadow work. This is definitely a month of the soul work, okay? Where we need to look at ourselves and see where our patterns are. See where our toxic traits are. I already said that, and it's definitely, like I said, we already got it off the bat in that first row there, going to be pretty challenging, but we need to reflect on this, and this is super important. And the fact that it's coming up in two different ways in that way makes me really want to emphasize it for you guys. So guys, do your shadow work. It's going to be super important this month. Usually when stuff like this comes up, and it comes up pretty heavy, is because we have a I guess I want to say glow up. We have good stuff in our future. We have good stuff coming to us. And so we need to heal the unhealed in us to be able to get to that next level and meet that energy, and be on that energetic vibration, if that makes sense. So you want to meet that energy, but first you've got to do the work. Okay, that's why it's important to do the work. Okay, what kind of responsibilities do we have? We have shaman, trust, and higher forces. Okay, so responsibilities. I definitely do feel like this one is coming through a little bit heavy. So how I feel this is, I want to say, so the shaman is really about, it says trust in higher forces, but it's really about also like exercising demons. And so, yeah, we're doing all, we're working with our inner demons and that kind of thing. Looking at how we're, looking at our shadow self and that kind of thing. And yeah, that is a responsibility, but I definitely do feel like this involves somebody else. And so it feels like there really does feel like a heavy emphasis on someone in our lives. And I'm very curious to see what comes through with friends, because it feels like a friend, an acquaintance of some kind, where they do need help. They do need to, there's something kind of going on in their lives, and it feels like you feel you need to be in service to help them, right? And so, because we have this energy kind of going on here, this doesn't feel like you're trying to save them. It doesn't feel like you're drowning trying to save them. It doesn't feel like they're an energy vampire sucking your energy or anything like that. But it definitely does feel like somebody needs you. And that feels like an extra responsibility on top of the responsibilities of healing yourself, okay? So it's almost like Spirit is saying, like, as we heal ourselves, we're able to heal others, right? That are kind of going through like similar things of like whatever's kind of going on. Maybe your pattern is something about, you keep making the same financial mistakes or something like that. And somebody close to you is going through kind of the same thing as you're currently working on that. So that's how I feel like, because the shaman is always in service of other people as well. So I definitely do feel like that it feels like, something that you kind of have to do, like you kind of like, and again, guys, this is going to be happening very like organically, very in sync, very, very in flow and alignment. So I definitely do feel like it's going to be pretty obvious who this person is. And I feel like it's a majority. I know this is for the collective, so it doesn't always resonate with everyone, but I feel like a lot of us, like the majority, are going to be really dealing with that. So, all right, money and finances, what do we have? Okay, speaking of, look at this, guys. It's so interesting how we have similar energies coming up next to each other. Now, what did I just say? Exorcising demons. We have the exorcist, and we have it, fear of facing your own demons. Here we go. And I just gave the example of money and finances. So I definitely do feel like, guys, a lot of our shadow work is going to be about money and finances this month. I'm getting that feeling as we go through this spread. So we're gonna have to face head on our demons around money, finances, how we work with them, our relationship to them. And by the way, I put the category of career in here. So any demons that are attached to maybe doing a career just for the money, like different things like that. So I definitely do feel like we are. It feels very, very, very much linked to, that's so funny that I gave that example and it kind of is coming to fruition in that way, is money and finances. We need to take a hard look at our money and finances this month for sure. Yeah. There's nothing else I can really say about that, guys, except it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, okay? And that's what the challenge is, okay? The challenge is it's going to be very uncomfortable looking at ourselves, how we are having that victim mentality, how we are, blaming others because we don't have enough money, for example, or something like that, okay? So it's really time to guys, here's the positive thing about it all. It's always about getting your power back, okay? So this means that we have to go through all the difficult stuff, but what comes after that is feeling more powerful and, like I said, empowered, okay? Okay, so we have, what do we have for change? Let's see here. We have peace. Okay, this is great. So I will say this. I definitely do feel like, yes, it's obviously pointing to a more, sorry, these are kind of getting all out of whack here. I definitely do feel like we're moving into, like I said, we're going from old life to new life. We're pretty close to the new life in its entirety, at least. But I definitely do feel like it's going to be more peaceful. I think we already know that. That's why we're really anxious to get into the new life, right? But I want to say that right now it feels like not that it feels stagnant, but it does feel peaceful and it feels calm. So it's not like too much is going to be happening that kind of thwarts or puts this change into another direction. I almost want to say everything else that is happening in this month, it's almost like you're not even thinking about your new life. It's like you have to do the healing work first, and that kind of, you know, absorbs all of your time, energy, and space. So I definitely want to just say, you know, it feels more peaceful than ever, and there's not really too much to say about that. All right, let's see what friends say, because I'm super curious. Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. Okay, so it's just talking about, you know, doing a lot of reflection. So I definitely do feel like with this responsibility that feels attached to another person and feeling, you know, helping somebody else close to you, that you're going, you know, what you're going through, somebody else is kind of going through the same thing. So yeah, definitely reflect on that with that person, but also too, it just feels like reflecting on your relationships in general. So I definitely do feel like that relationship will kind of ignite just reflection on your different relationships in general. And a month that's full of heavy shadow work definitely makes us feel changes us, and makes us really reflect on everything as a whole. So I'm actually not surprised at that, but I definitely do feel like reflecting on your relationships and the people closest to you and how they affect you, and that kind of thing. So okay, let's see, romantic connection. What do we got going on here? Teacher. Okay, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Okay, so I definitely do feel like some of you guys are going to be, like, it almost feels like Spirit is saying, like, your partner is teaching you something. Your partner, like, it doesn't necessarily feel like us teaching them. It feels more so like our partner teaching us something. Obviously, it could be a two-way street, right? With this back and forth, this exchange, this balance type energy that's kind of coming through up there. With people and humanity, and that can obviously blend into our romantic relationships. Definitely does feel like they're teaching you something. So they could be teaching you more so about unconditional love. How sweet, right? How beautiful is that? They could be teaching you something more tangible, like a new skill for you. You know, they could be teaching you, how to forgive. Just anything in general. It could really be something a little bit more tangible, something a little bit more spiritual, but I definitely do feel like we're gaining from our romantic connection for sure. If you guys are, watching this and you're single, you can learn something from dating. So it's a good month to date, that's for sure. Learn something about yourself, somebody teaches you something, etc., etc. Like, it's definitely in favor to date this month for sure, especially if you've been on a hiatus for a while. Definitely that energy comes through, because teaching and learning is what life is all about, right? It's all about learning the lessons, right? Okay, important. It's important to breathe. Of course it is. I don't think I have too much to say about this. This is really about taking a pause, taking a breath, breathe in, breathe out, meditating if you can, any type of spiritual work that you can kind of keep up, any kind of spiritual practice makes sense because of that peace card here. But if you make it a priority and make it something that's important to you, that will obviously, that brings the peace, and that'll make, the heaviness that I'm feeling a little bit up here of the month a little bit easier, okay? Health and wellness. We have surround yourself with protective energy. Awesome. Okay, so health and wellness. So this is just about protecting yourself energetically, okay? Health and wellness is pretty broad, and I don't usually come through with, Spirit doesn't come through with medical stuff, but this is really about overall wellness. This is just protecting your energy. Most of you guys that are watching me are empaths. I know it. That's why you're here on my channel. I just, I'm an empath, so I usually attract other empaths. So, and for people who don't know what that is, it's, somebody very sensitive can pick up other energies, but it's important to have boundaries, protect your energy. Whether you practice shielding or, the white light exercise, cord cutting, whatever you actually end up doing, please do that this month. It's going to be really important. And last but not least, what's the overall outcome of the month? Oh no, we have Warrior upside down. Trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. Trading ethical principles for victory. Okay, so this is just saying Warrior is an amazing card, first of all, to get in a month that feels like a lot of, there's a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing, a lot of self-reflection, that kind of thing. So that's a positive. But this is basically saying, like, we have to embody that warrior archetype energy, because when it's in the shadow, it's basically saying we're not embodying it, basically. And we have to come into our own power. So, and I've said empower like so many times this reading already, but it's so important that we understand that we really need to tap into, in my opinion, I think this is the most, there we go, powerful archetype that there is. It's the warrior, because it's basically saying that you can overcome anything, okay, and not become bitter, and and not become angry. And it's okay to be those things, but basically out of the whole thing, right? It makes me think of the hero's journey, is that we go through this journey, that kind of sucks us in and changes us and creates this wisdom, and then we come out basically a new person. But that new person is the warrior. They're embodying that warrior energy, and so we really need to do that. So Spirit is saying, be careful, and also to be careful of going the other way with it. And to me, that would be like telling yourself you're not strong enough, telling yourself you can't do this, because like I said, don't forget that challenge is I feel a lot of us are going to be saying something similar, right? I can't do this. This is too hard. We can do hard things, okay? We can do hard things. People do hard things every single day, and Spirit is with you every second of every moment of these really, really tough situations and experiences and things like that. So the other thing I want to say is, it's okay if it's the end of the month and you don't feel like a warrior, okay? So I do want to say that with this one, because it's not like it happens overnight, okay? So just be easy with yourself. I think we ended with compassion last week as far as the overall outcome goes. Like, we have to be easy on ourselves, guys. Like, life is hard. Earth school, which I like to call it, is very, very hard. And so if you don't feel powerful by the end of the month, it's going to be okay. Okay. There's always another month. Okay. So it's a tough month. But you're built for it, is basically what I'm trying to say, and what Spirit is trying to say here. And you can get through it. Okay. You kind of got to go in the shadows a little bit, to come out on top. So, and I will say, money is definitely a hot button issue that brings a lot of fear. It brings a lot of shame. So it does bring, and like I said, I feel like it's going to be a theme here with a lot of us. It brings up a lot of those low vibrational energies that don't necessarily make us feel powerful, but the whole point is kind of transmuting those to more powerful energies. Okay, I'm done with that. All right, guys. I hope this resonates with you. Looks like an overall good month. I know it's going to be a little tough for some of us here, but we can do it. Like I said, we are built for it, and I hope you guys have a great month.